Wilson.
Gave the commencement address at the University of Wisconsin a couple of years ago. One of the most popular players ever to pull on the uniform there. Beginning of his career, he was a so-called game manager. Take care of the football and rely on the defense. Now, in this stage of his career, the offense runs through him, and it runs very well.
Throwing now, Wilson on first down. Looking for Baldwin, intercepted. Picked off by Thomas Davis. And he is going to get this one back to the 20-yard line.
Well, partner, that was not a good omen right there. The very first play from scrimmage, and you just want to give yourself a nice, simple throw and hopefully get yourself into a rhythm. That is the last thing you're expecting. And now you put your defense in a tough spot right from the word go.
Cam's going to run the option right. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. Give him 4 yards there on the first down keeper.
Well, if you're going to run the read option, typically, you've got to keep an eye on the defensive end.
And what does that mean? What are you looking for with a defensive end?
Well, you want to play off of what he does. If he collapses inside towards the running back, then you pull it and take it yourself outside in. If he stays outside, you go ahead and leave it with the running back. In this case, pulled it and got good yardage himself.
On second down, here's Newton. Forced out to his left. And he just chucked that one out of bounds, out of everyone's reach. Maybe a wise call not to take a sack in this part of the field. It brings up third down.
Oh, I like that right there. Not only was it the right play, throwing it away like that, frankly, I think it was the only play.
Yeah, got outside of the pocket, realized he had nothing, just chucked it free.
Yeah, live to fight another down, right?
Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's fourth down.
That goes down as a loss against his rushing stats. But really, should he have to absorb that one? He had no chance on that play before they overwhelmed him.
Pretty much on top of him before he could take his first step. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces him to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. This is what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal. But conventional football 101, tells us if you don't get it back to the 20-yard line on a kickoff return, that's a disappointment. But some of these special teams coaches, with approval by the head coach, they give them full authority to go ahead and bring it out and try to be aggressive. Almost what we call the green light, red light theory. Green light means go, red light means stop. Looks like he had green on that play.
Here's Rashad Penny, first carry for the former San Diego State Aztec. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. And he got off the end there very quickly to make that play.
Yeah, it was almost like the bullet train, wasn't it? I mean, just zoom. Quick, quick, quick. And what a terrific play, holding them to no gain.
Tempo, tempo.
Play action. Now Wilson. Flushed out right. And it's hauled in by Ed Dixon. And he'll be taken down, but they've got this one up to the 35-yard line. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
As a general rule, offensive linemen like to know where their quarterback's going to be when he's setting up to throw the football. But sometimes they just have to get on the run, get on the move. He was able to do that on that play and picks up a first down with a nice throw.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. They'll throw on first down with Wilson. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Mike Adams.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
Now following the interception, here's Newton. Being chased out, and he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Frank Clark in there to bury him for a loss of 11.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
Here's Newton now on second down. And he's going to go down again. So now Cam leads the Panthers up following the sack. Carolina facing third and long. A shotgun snap for Newton. Steps away. Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more. And that is the third sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Man, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game, I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. Russell Wilson now gears up to lead the offense again. Bottom line, he's got to figure things out. He's completed 3 passes, but 2 of them have been to the wrong team so far.
And when we talk about the best quarterbacks, we're usually talking about touchdown-to-interception ratio, aren't we? And 2 to 1 is acceptable, but the top line guys, 3 to 1 or better is what they're looking for. Now we're talking about interceptions versus completions. That's not a ratio should ever be in any discussion. Well, they did throw interceptions on their last 2 drives, so no surprise at all they decided to start it with a running play. I'm actually a little bit surprised, though, that they got as much out as they did.
Yeah, decent little gain. Puts him in a pretty good spot for second down. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and put the defense back on its heels.
Penny, a first down carry. And this defense not giving him anything there. Maybe a yard up to the 36.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
Now they'll throw it with Wilson. He's going to air this out for Baldwin. And Wilson's going to be intercepted a third time. And he lost the football. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
So Newton and the Panthers come up now 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line.
Great. You're set. 780. Watch the twin. Watch the do something.
Out of the gun, Newton. And Olsen over the middle. And he'll lose yardage here, back to the 15. It's a loss of 4 there, bringing up second down.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
On second down, McCaffrey. Now he is going to be stopped cold. Behind the line of scrimmage. Good opening quarter for him. Remember, he had the sack earlier. Now a tackle for loss, another tackle for loss.
He's really making it tough on the play caller, though, isn't he? Because it's one thing to try and adjust when a guy is disrupting your running game. but when he's messing up your passing game as well, they may have to devote at least a second guy to him to try and keep him away from their plays.
On the ball, on the ball, on the ball, on the ball.
This is Newton off the play fake to McCaffrey. He'll buy some time right. And it falls incomplete after almost being intercepted. A pick there would have been great. The good news for the defense now, it's 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
Here's Russell Wilson and the Seahawk offense now getting set to go again. He and his team, they have had a rough go of it here in this first half. Maybe time for him to put his foot down here in the second quarter.
Put his foot down and become a little more accurate throwing the football. He's already thrown 2 interceptions. He's trying to find a way to equal things out. And instead of it going to the opponents, get it to his own receivers and find the end zone.
Yeah, you mentioned those 2 picks. No touchdown passes yet either. Well, the grab made by Doug Baldwin. Now he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. A good pick up there, 26 yards.
I don't care how many times you tell the story, it never loses its luster for me. Doug Baldwin, undrafted out of Stanford, and plays like a #1 receiver should in the NFL. I don't care how you cover him. I don't care that his size isn't great. He's the one that typically comes up with the football.
Absolutely. His roots go all the way back to Gulf Breeze, Florida, where he's from, right on the water near Pensacola, and then, of course, to Stanford, and, boy, he's been good. Now, a throw to the end zone on 1st down, but it winds up incomplete.
Another dangerous throw there, partner. I mean, he's already thrown 2 interceptions here in the first half. I don't know if you want to keep throwing up 50-50 balls, and you've had that kind of lack of success.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well could have been a third. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. It's the Pro Bowler Luke Kuechly that picks it. And the return stops just a little bit shy of midfield at the 48-yard line. He was trying to hit his big receiver, Brandon Marshall. So that is 3 interceptions now in this first half, and you hate to ask the question, but let's be honest, we're thinking about it. Do you need to go in a different direction next year?
Potentially. We know that he's probably not going to be on the Pro Bowl ballot. That's not really his stature here, but he has been their starting quarterback for this game. So they've got to weigh things about who's behind him. Do they think he can snap it back into gear? Maybe change up the play calling to help him out a little bit. Whenever we meet with coaches and they always talk about wanting to establish running the football, it's oftentimes with a good tight end who can control the line of scrimmage and the point of attack, and they're becoming harder to find because the colleges are giving us a whole lot of receiving tight ends, former wide receivers who can run, not necessarily block very well. In this case, though, we saw 2 tight ends on the field, both of them with the ability to block, and he ran the ball successfully behind that power set.
Here now is 2nd and 10, again from the 41. Back to the air, Newton on 2nd down. They'll set up the screen to McCaffrey. And they went the wrong way there. Losing yardage back at the 43-yard line.
Time to give a little credit here. That was an excellent read by the guys on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, you're crediting your defense.
Got to credit them on that one because they tried to fool him, right? Tried to trick him, ran a screen, and they went to it and smothered it for a loss of yardage.
And that is incomplete.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
So on trots the field goal unit, and wow, this is going to be a challenge here. They spot it on the midfield stripe, so it is a 60-yard attempt here.
Everything looked good. Good snap, good hold. Sometimes, though, the ball just doesn't want to go where you want it. And this one winds up no good.
Well, they gave the 60-yarder a try, didn't make it, and now they're in a tough position defensively. This offense has it at midfield. From midfield now, here's Wilson. And it's hauled in by Nick Vanette. 20! It's a big play there for Seattle. 43 yards.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. An inaugural trip to the red zone here for the Seahawks. They've got it 1st and goal at the 7. Now Wilson. Escaping the pressure right. And they're going to get to him. A sack. Sack back at the 9-yard line. Julius Peppers able to run him down for a loss of a yard.
No doubt that's a very good play defensively right there, because you've always got to be aware that he can take off and make a big play with his legs. How about the way they were able to contain him? That also tells me the coverage was excellent downfield.
Now from the 9, here's 2nd and goal. They'll give it to him up the middle. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. A nice run there as he picks up 6. It's going to be 3rd and goal now. This is kind of one of those in-between plays here, Charles, on 3rd and goal from the 2 or the 3 in that area. What do you dial up?
Something quick hitting. You don't have the time for something that develops slowly. It's got to be right at them if you're going to run the football. If you're going to throw it, something quick, get it out of your hands in a hurry.
That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively, because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
A good drive gets them inside the 5, but they could not punch it in.
And credit the defense, too. Make sure that that happens, because that was the old bend but don't break approach. Made sure they contained them when they absolutely had to and forced the field goal attempt that went through.
The Panthers offense here, they get ready to head back on the field. And the last go-around for them, they tried that really, really long field goal, couldn't connect.
And in retrospect, I think a lot of people would say, well, why would you try one that long? You hurt yourself in field position. The ball comes out, there. That only helps the other team. But I look at it as maybe it was a double shot of confidence. Confident the kicker couldn't make it. And even if he missed, confident in their defense that they could hold him.
And a decent gain there as that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Give him 6 on the play, and they're going to have a 3rd down. We remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll take you to Orlando and Jonathan Coachman. Coach will have highlights and analysis of this first half, one that's featured no touchdowns as of yet on either side.
So his job's a little bit easier for this halftime.
Need to give the coach some highlights here.
Yes, we do.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
I'm not sure we could spot any tendency here on this 3rd down. They could have run it or passed it. Either one was available. They chose to try and get it through the air, but they were unsuccessful.
And how about the call here? They need 2 yards in their own territory on 4th down, and they're going to go for it. He may try and run for this. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. A curious decision to go for it, but it pays off with a 1st down. On 1st and 10, Newton throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. The linebacker, Bobby Wagner, able to get back in coverage and knock it free.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the 2nd quarter, a lot of time to change things. Back to throw, Newton. Buying time to his left. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. The Panthers on 3rd down. A pretty woeful 0 for 5 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. From the gun, here's Newton. And this is going to be incomplete. The linebacker, Bobby Wagner, able to get back in coverage and knock it free.
All right, let's go ahead and try and get into the body and the mind of the linebackers. Yeah, I know they're bigger and stronger than I ever was, but in this situation, they understood what was going on as much as the offensive guys, because the offensive guys are always taught, find the 1st down sticks and make the play. Well, on defense, what do you want to do? guard the first down line, make sure they don't get there, and tackle them in front. They were able to drop in their zone coverage, figure out where the first down line was, and end up making the play, swatting it away so they couldn't get the completion.
And it is incomplete. So certainly an interesting call there to go for it. And the Seahawks, they'll get the football back in outstanding field position. So they take a big chance here in their own territory. And you think the coach may have some questions to answer?
Yeah, and, you know, normally we focus on the media, right? The social media barrage that he's going to get for this one. How about on his own sideline and in his locker room? Because I think the team's going to look at him like, Coach, why would we go for it there? I mean, no confidence in the defense. You don't like the punter. I mean, what's going on here? You owe us some explanations.
On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. And now here's another interception. Picked off by Captain Mutterland. And his guys are going to take over at the 31-yard line. We haven't even escaped the first half, and he's already thrown 4 picks.
And Brandon, back in the good old days, probably back before you were born, if your starter threw 4 in the first half, he might throw 8 or more for the game because they weren't going to pull him out. But nowadays, the patience level isn't quite there. He's going to have to make some real adjustments, or the backup may see some time.
Now it's Newton. And he'll toss this one incomplete. Seeing no options, he throws it away.
But one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown him a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after him. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing.
And they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. Newton to throw. Dancing to his left. And it's knocked away and incomplete. Right there in coverage, the veteran Cam Chancellor.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they did incompletions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give them another shot here in the first half. But if you don't pick up the first down, guess what? You're likely going to have to.
Now Newton. And the 3rd down pass falls incomplete.
Well, partner, they're not content to run this one out as we head towards the half, trying to hit a big chunk play right there and add to their score.
Yeah, this is a confident group. At the very least, they're thinking field goal.
Yeah, and I don't blame them one bit. I don't think you sit on the ball going into the half when you have a chance to put some more points on the board.
And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. An excellent return that time, 26 yards. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. The Seahawks offense now, they get set to go back to work. And last time, 1-play interception. So this offense, they should be fresh.
That's a good way of putting it. And I can't wait to see what they decide to do with play calling. Because a 1-play drive where you throw an interception, a lot of people think the very next time out, run the football, don't give them a chance.
Maybe play action?
I think maybe.
And that's caught inside the 30. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Doug Baldwin, 63 yards. And the Seahawks get the quick strike touchdown.
And that touchdown gives them a touchdown lead before they attempt the extra point. What a great way to end the half.
Yeah, great job to put themselves in front. And now, see on the sideline, special teams defense scrambling, saying we want to preserve this for the final moments of this 2nd quarter. Janikowski adds the extra point, and the lead is now 10-3. And we can break that scoring drive down pretty easily. 1 play, long touchdown pass into the end zone. Out to kick is Janikowski. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Now onto the field, here come the Panthers. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing
Holding.
risk. This is a big
Offense.
decision here.
So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. And he goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage back at the 17. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. Give him 5 yards on the run there, but it'll leave him with a definite 3rd and long on the horizon. The Panthers on 3rd down, as bad as you can be. 0 for 7 thus far. This is 3rd and 16. A final shot before the break. Newton forced out to his left. Now he'll let it go on the run. Deep left side. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the all-pro free safety, Earl Thomas.
Okay, well, so much for the halftime report here. The guy can't even finish his Snickers. We're going to get right to the 3rd quarter. Let me spit this out.
Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. That'll be taken in the end zone. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Cam Newton getting ready to go again on offense. And he's had some time to chew on that interception he threw on his last drive back in the first half.
Well, normally we say, want to get him right back out on the field and play again, right? But as you mentioned, had the halftime, had to stew about it a little bit. Maybe he'll have a chance to relax a little, kind of laugh and chuckle and let it go.
He'll hope to respond positively here to start the 3rd quarter. A gain of 3, 2nd down.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
On 2nd down, Anderson. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. No gain on the play, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
And that is incomplete.
We've seen these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Now it's Lockett. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. Here comes the Seahawks offensive unit. They'll have it first to begin the 3rd. They have the lead here. Well, we talk a lot about pregame speeches. What are halftime speeches like?
For the most part, not nearly as emotional. They're a lot more clinical. Every now and then, though, they'll get after you if they think they need to light a fire. But in this case, let's go into the virtual locker room, because here's what I think happened. They got in there and they said, listen, let's take control right away.
Yeah,
Defense, we got the lead. Defense, don't give up any points. Turn the ball back over to the offense and let them go down and score and give us more of a cushion in the game. Checks.
End End zone caught. Touchdown, Seattle.
Touchdown, baby.
Tyler Lockett, a 15-yard touchdown grab. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. Still plenty of time left in the game, but now starting to pull away a little bit. Get some breathing room with that one.
And I don't want people to think that NFL locker rooms are cookie cutter, that everyone's saying the exact same thing in every situation. But I do know that all 32 teams have an emphasis on starting fast. Game, second half, no matter what. Whether it's first 5 minutes, first 3, whatever. This was a big score to start the second half.
Out to kick is Janikowski. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Carolina getting set to take the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
And he'll get about 3 as he takes this up near the 25.
Well, they still have time to get him established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
To throw on second down is Newton. He's got Smith here. And this one will go to the 28-yard line. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's third down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And that is incomplete.
Well, we're into the second half now, and this is an offense that continues to struggle to sustain a drive.
Looks like they're just totally out of sync, whether they're running the ball, passing the ball like we saw there. I don't know. The rhythm seems off. The offense going to stay out there. They've converted once, failed once. What can they do here on fourth down?
20.
They will go for it. Now Newton. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's right. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37.
20.
Give them credit. They knew what they wanted to dial up on fourth. They executed it for 9 yards, and the offense stays out there. And this is caught. I think he got that with one hand. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. That'll be a loss of 4 yards on the play. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 14. Again, Newton. Being chased out left. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. He'll end up getting 5 out of that, but now they're looking at third down. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on third down. Now Newton. And he finds a man. It's Olsen. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A pickup of 24 on the third down conversion. Now whistles. Flag down, and I believe one of the Panthers got moving early.
False start, offense.
And that'll set them back 5.
Still first down.
A false start backs him up 5. 1st and 15. From the gun, Newton. But when this ball's tipped and intercepted. Picked off by the Pro Bowl safety Cam Chancellor. He couldn't get the hook up there that time with Thomas.
Well, there definitely was some juice on that pass. And while tight ends don't always have the same reputation for hands as wide receivers do, in this case, that ball was expected to be caught.
And the Seahawks get ready to trot out on the field. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because What you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on.
The Panther rush too strong. They get there and take him down. Julius Peppers in there to pick up his second sack now of the afternoon.
That's his second sack of the game, and the best defensive ends, they do their homework as much as offensive guys do. They know how to beat the offensive lineman across from them, what moves they need to do to set them up. This guy's been pretty good at it all game long.
So now 20 yards to go on second down after the sack. Work to be done. Throwing is Wilson. He's going to loft one deep over the middle. That's incomplete. Nearly another pick. My goodness.
Trying to decipher what's going on out there because I don't know if he's just getting bad reads. I don't know if the defense is confusing him. I don't know if he just has, bad info and intel before he snaps the ball. But he's made some pretty bad decisions with the football lately.
Yeah, several bad decisions on the interceptions he's thrown in. Frankly, that should nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Mario Addison with a big-time sack on third down, and it'll be a loss of 7. Well, they went with the nickel. They throw in an extra defensive back. Coverage was very good.
Yeah, it was exactly as you would expect. A passing down. You bring in the nickel package. Just as you described, the coverage was excellent and allowed one of their linemen to end up getting to the quarterback.
Now here's Michael Dixon, as his first punt will come from inside his own end zone. And now a low liner. I think he mishit it. Pretty woeful there. Just 23 yards on the punt. And the Panthers will take over in terrific field position. Carolina getting set to take the field. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no. Good to go back and say, well, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
And the offense moving quickly to the line. Might have gotten this one down to the 28, and that's all. Tackle made there by Frank Clark. Now the offense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. After the run, Newton going to throw. And he gets it to Funchess complete. And he will have the first down across the 20 to the 19-yard line. Newton finding Funchess for the Panther first down. Now a first down throw for Newton. And this one complete right side to Funchess. And he'll get it here to the 10-yard line. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Here's Newton now on second down. Flush to his right. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. Newton able to use those legs and get past the marker to pick up the first. First and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. The shotgun snap for Newton. He's going to be out of bounds on what's going to wind up being the final play of quarter number 3. From the 2 now, second and goal. They come out 5 wide, 3 of them to the right side. And the Panthers in for the score. So they get the score still down. The bottom line is they kept themselves in the game.
They did keep hope alive, Brandon. That's exactly what they did. Now they've got to deliver and finish things off.
Extra point try good by Gano. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this fourth quarter. Gano out to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he takes it all the way across the 40 before going out of bounds.
Illegal block in the back. Return team.
So that will push him back.
First down.
And now we know why I have a little extra space to run, don't we? An illegal block in the back. That penalty will move them back.
Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at their own 15. Play action. It's Wilson. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked up by James Bradbury. And he will bring this one back. It's a pick 6 for a Panther touchdown.
Now that was a beautiful play. A pick 6. How would you punctuate something like that, partner?
You mean with an exclamation mark?
Exclamation mark, a big word. What would you do with that?
Ampersand?
I like it.
Don't forget the extra point. It's up and good. And, partner, we've got a tie game here in the 4th. Set to go now with the kickoff. These two teams all even again as we continue in this wild 4th quarter. This is taken about 7 yards deep. A nice little juke. And in hindsight, probably should have stayed where he was as he'll only get back to the 16-yard line. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And they gave up the pick 6. And now they'll be looking to right the ship here. Now, as a quarterback, are you a little more cautious this go-around?
You should be, just because after what you gave up, but you can't be so cautious as to just really take things in, and now you're not going to play loose enough to give your team a chance to score. But you still have to be careful because those defensive guys, I know the reputation defense guys can't catch. All evidence to the contrary on that last possession, though.
On 2nd down, here's Penny. And there is nowhere for him to cut back as he's taken down in the backfield. He lost 4 there, and it's 3rd down.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively. And with the play clock winding down, we're going to get a timeout. That's going to leave them with just 1 remaining here in this 4th quarter.
Let's go get it, baby. Let's go.
3rd and long. It's Wilson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Tie game, 4th quarter, and they're going for this thing on 4th down. Wilson. And that is incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And now possession will go over inside the 15-yard line. So now I need an explanation for that one, Charles. You're tied, 4th quarter, deep in your own territory. What was going on in their mind?
I can't even begin to imagine. I understand being aggressive. You know, how many times have you looked at me and said, are you crazy? Why would you say go for it there? I wouldn't in this situation. I'm not sure what he was thinking other than maybe he doesn't believe in his defense at all anymore, that he just says, I've got to go for it in this situation. But his meeting, the head coach's meeting with the GM and the owner, That's
could
going to
be
be an
testing.
interesting one because he's going to have to offer an explanation for this one. And how about the defense? They had to look across the field and go, that's the ultimate disrespect, isn't it?
Yep. From the gun on third down, Newton. And he'll dump this off to his running back, McCaffrey. Oh, and they had it stopped short of the first, but a penalty marker down. And that looked like a clear face mask to me.
Personal foul, face mask, defense.
So give them the yardage on the pass and half the distance to the goal line.
Because they're inside the 30. So now you don't march off the full 15, right? You have half the distance to the goal. In any event, that's precious real estate given up.
They come out here in the eye. They'll run for it with Anderson. And he's going to get this back to the 3-yard line and no further. No gain on the play that time, and it sets up second and goal. Well, if you look where that play starts, O-line versus D-line, that was a battle won by the D-line.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's won by quickness off the ball. Who can handle the guy across from them best? On that play, the defensive line did exactly that.
Steps away to his left. And that's incomplete. Give credit to K.J. Wright. He was disrupting defensively.
All defenders get tired of hearing about their lack of hands and why they're playing defense instead of offense. But in this situation, it was the hands that made the play. Batting the ball away on an attempted touchdown pass. Excellent job. Way to knock it down.
This Seattle defense, they haven't broken yet. Coming up here on a 3rd and goal situation. Here's Newton. A bullet throw, but incomplete.
Those throwing windows get a lot tighter near the end zone, don't they? And here's the thing. You already probably have 3 points in your hip pocket. You force a throw here and give up an interception, you come away with nothing.
Especially tough in the middle third of the field where he threw that one. So the drive here ends with a field goal. It does give them the lead, but this one's still certainly a long ways from over.
It definitely puts a lot of pressure on your defense to hold the lead, right? They're happy to have it and happy to be out there trying to do so. But I know as a former player, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, why don't you score the touchdown and seal this thing?
The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. And on that last drive, went for it on 4th, turned it over. But good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be a little bit better, a little bit more careful here.
And sometimes when you see these calls on 4th down, when they decide to go for it, it's not necessarily the coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense.
And my goodness, another interception. It's the Pro Bowler Luke Kuechly that picks it. And they're going to set up shop at the 27-yard line. Marshall, the intended receiver. What a nightmarish game he's having now. 6 interceptions that he has thrown.
Absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? Hard to believe we're watching this and have seen it, but it just tells you about the game of football. It giveth and it taketh away.
Yeah, the guys, though, that have thrown 6 interceptions in a game, the likes of Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, I think Joe Namath, he did it 3 times. Now here's a pass on 1st down that's knocked away and incomplete.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on 1st down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on 1st down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up 2nd down.
And Olsen over the middle. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. From the left hash, this from 39. And Gano's kick is right through. And that will add 3 more to their lead. It pushes it up to 6. So they get to 3, but you wonder now, is that going to be enough?
Excellent question, because when I look at the smiles on that side of the field, they're a little tight, aren't they? If they had scored a touchdown there, those would be big half-moon grins right now because they feel a whole lot better about their position.
And a touchdown in the other direction, all of a sudden they're down. Russell Wilson now gears up to lead the offense again. And the interception that ended their previous drive, that might be one we look back on and say that was the turning point of this game.
Hey, partner, guess what? There's still time for a few more turning points in this ball game. They're only one score down.
Yeah, true. We could have some twists and turns. Stay tuned. And he'll go down right at the 30-yard line. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
They run again with Carson. Runs through the contact. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive.
You know what really fires up offensive linemen? When the guy that is carrying the ball behind them can create his own space and break a tackle along the way.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Here's a give to Penny. And an alley to run. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. They come up on a 1st and 10, desperately needing a score here on what could be their final drive. Back to throw. And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked up by James Bradbury. And they will set up shop at their own 41-yard line. The number 7 usually lucky here. Not for him. 7 picks he's thrown in this game. That's only happened 6 times since 1960.
And I know that the most recent time it happened, the guy who threw him, he'd won a Heisman Trophy in college, so sometimes you just have a lousy game. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad career, but when you're talking about one game, 7, you're right, not lucky at all.
Yeah, Ty Detmer, the last to do it in 2001, to throw 7 picks.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump
Neutral
here.
zone infraction, defense.
Jumpy on the right side of the line.
Sometimes when you're on the end, a little bit farther away from the ball, any type of movement will get you to jump, and that's exactly what happened there.
Throwing here, Newton. They'll set up the screen to McCaffrey. And he goes out of bounds. It looks like right at the 50. 6 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it 3rd and 1.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass, looked like it was coming together, looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
Newton to throw. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning. Hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. On 4th down, Newton. Got a man, it's right. That one a backbreaker as they wind up converting there on 4th.
Every play is supposed to get a player's best effort, but on 4th down, that really increases the stakes, doesn't it? What about that catch?
Heck of an effort picking up the first.
And now that team has to be motivated going forward. They just saw a great effort there. They want to make sure it pays off.
Back to throw, Newton. He's going to fire one deep, and he's across for the touchdown. And in the final minute, that should just about seal it. Now we're going to get a timeout here, and I believe it was called by the defense. And if that's indeed the case, they'll be out of timeouts for the remainder of this second half. Now Newton will bring the Panthers up to go for 2. Newton throwing again. And this one's caught. And their fourth quarter lead grows by a couple more. He hits the big target for the two-point try. Defenses hate those guys, especially around the goal line.
It's hard to decide who you're going to put on him. Are you going to put a smaller corner on him? Are you going to put a safety who doesn't have maybe the same coverage skills? How about a linebacker? He may have the size, but he's not used to really covering in space. That's why the tight end gives you such a great advantage when you're throwing the football.
This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And he's going to be out of bounds here as the run back will leave him shy of the 20-yard line. The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. They are looking to make a bit of a 180. They are sputtering right now.
And frankly, I think it's time to call your playmakers together and say, all right, guys, we're going to lean on you through this patch. We need you to get us back on track and get us going in the right direction. So you're calling plays geared to them. Not necessarily that you look at your plays, oh, this hurts the defense. I want the ball in the hands of X, Y, and Z and see if we can move forward.
So don't get too cute. Go to the playmakers. They stay on the ground. Again, it's Carson. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. They got 2 of the 3 they needed there. It leaves them with third and just a yard. The good run on first down followed up by a not-so-good run on second down.
Now let's find out if they're going to stick with the run here on third down. A lot of people would love to see some play action here. I say go with your best running play over your best blocker.
That is not going to be any help as they dump him behind the line of scrimmage. And, Charles, you know what coaches always tell us. We want to win our home games. That much we know. We want to protect our home turf. They got that done in this one.
Exactly right. When you start a season, everyone's goal.